Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name is Amir Rahman and today I will present about past tense with my other partners, Hanis and Batisha. Introduction. In some language, the grammatical expression of past tense is combined with the expression of other categories, such as grammatical aspect. See tense aspect. Thus, a language may have several types of past tense form. They are used depending on what aspectual or other additional information to be encoded. Some languages that grammatically for past tense do by inflecting the verb, while others do so repeatedly using auxiliary verb, also known as verbal operators. Not all languages grammatically use verb for past tense. Definition of past tense. The past tense is grammatical tense who function to place an action or situation in the past. Example of verb in the past tense include the English verbs sang, went, and watched. Most languages have a past tense, with some having several types in order to indicate how far the action took place. Some languages have a compound past tense which uses auxiliary verbs as well as an imperfect tense which expresses continuous or repetitive event or action. Some languages inflect the verb which change the ending to indicate the past tense, while non-inflected language may use other words such as yesterday or last week to more indicate that something took place in the past.
Simple past tense is a verb that is used to relate an achieved activity that happened in the past or had happened in the past regularly. Simple past tense is a form by added d or ed to their base form. As an example, two boys played with a ball. The simple past tense underlined word is played. The next example is an old lady walked with her cat. Simple past tense underlined word is walk. Simple past tense can also be classified under positive sentences, negative sentences, and interrogative sentences. Positive sentences are events that happen in the past or activity that we going repeatedly. Sentence for positive simple past tense is formed with subject plus second form of verb plus object. For example, he studied in the library. You went to the bed early. Next, negative sentences. The main rules for negative sentences are the words verb is to be used. The structure of negative sentences is subject plus did not plus basic word of verb plus object. For example, he didn't study in the library. You didn't go to the bed early. Next, interrogative sentences. Interrogative also called as question. Interrogative should start with additional verb did. The additional verb is formed by the object in the end. The structure is did add verb plus subject plus first form of verb plus object. For example, did you eat yesterday?
Past continuous tense is a tense we use to indicate the action or condition that were happening at some point in time in the past but have now finished. In other words, past continuous tense is used to describe or indicate actions that began in the past and were continuing when another event occurred. For example, they were drinking coffee when I arrived. I was watching football match on TV when he called. The earthquake was scaring all of us. We were eating when our friends showed up. The police were chasing the man while you were talking.
First, positive sentences. Past continuous tense positive sentences. Subject plus be, was or were plus verb ing. For example, you were watching television last night. They were studying math yesterday. Next, negative sentences. It puts the verb in the parentheses in continuous past in a negative form. For example, Peter not go to the doctor, so he went to the bed. I not wear jeans yesterday. Next, negative sentences. In interrogative sentences of past continuous tense, was and were are used before the subject. The structure of the sentence is was or were plus subject plus ing form of verb plus other words. For example, was I learning Mandarin last year? Were we playing?
Past perfect tense is the tense denoting the an action was completed before another specified past time or past action. In summary, the past perfect tense is a verb from to express completed action, such as action before another begins, both in past. As an example, the baby had cried before her father came. The past perfect tense underlined word is had cried. The next example is had the water boiled when you went to kitchen. The past perfect tense underlined word is had and boiled. Past perfect tense also have positive, negative, and interrogative sentences. Positive of past perfect tense is the basic structure or formula for positive sentences represented in past perfect tense is subject auxiliary verb, which is had, third form of verb, as example past participle and object. Negative of past perfect tense is had not, which is hadn't been, the ing form of the verb. Mary decided to buy a new juicer because her old one hadn't been working for years. Interrogative of past perfect tense is interrogative sentences in the past perfect tense have the following structure: had subject past participle form of the verb. Had I seen him before? The past perfect continuous tense, also known as the past perfect progressive tense, shows the an action that started in the past continue up until another time in the past. The past perfect continuous tense is constructed using had been plus the verb's present participle root plus ing. As an example, they had been talking for over an hour before Tony arrived. The past perfect continuous tense underlined word is had been talking. Next example is she had been working at the company for 3 years when it went out of business. The past perfect continuous tense underlined word is had been working.
Positive, negative, and interrogative sentences for past perfect continuous tense. For positive sentences, subject plus had plus been plus VING. When her husband came home, the woman had been cleaning the house for hours. Next, the ground was covered with snow. It had been snowing heavily for several hours. For the negative sentences, when we make negative sentences, we normally use not after auxiliary verb has or have. Negative past perfect continuous tense, subject plus had, helping verb plus not plus been, auxiliary verb plus first verb plus ing plus object. For the integrative sentences, a question sentences in which past perfect continuous tense is to use with the auxiliary verb had, then the subject to be used, then been is used, then lastly the verb in the first form is with the ing suffix in use. Example: had Chris and Oliver been studying to learn Japanese very well in order to live and work in Japan?